Hola, mis amores. Welcome to today's episode of Tea Time with Nori. We are getting to the end of 2019. Today, I wanted to share with you the number one tip to be more consistent that has actually worked for me. And when we think of consistency, we constantly may struggle with that. I personally have struggled a lot with consistency when it comes to the things that I don't really want to do. And often, because I struggle with consistency, I take myself away from my goals with my actions instead of bringing myself closer to my goals. And I wanted to share with you a tip or a hack that has helped me a lot, that really pushes me to look at my progress. When I am struggling with consistency, I find that I'm struggling because I don't see progress. I think the progress is not moving fast enough, or I may feel that I don't really know what the point of this is because I'm not getting what I want. So, one of the things that has helped me a lot are evening reflections. So, these evening reflections are a combination of, it's a set of 4 questions that I ask myself. I'll pull it up right now. Here you go. It's a set of 4 questions that I ask myself every single day at the end of my day so that I can see what I have done well, so that I can see what I need to improve on the next day, and so that I can really get a picture of how much progress I've made. Because if I see that I'm making progress, I am more likely to stay on track. I am more likely to stay consistent. Even when I don't feel like doing things, once I see the progress is happening, that triggers me to continue want to push through. So I want to share with you the 4 questions I ask myself during my evening reflections so that you can take these questions with you, and at the end of your day, you can ask yourself these questions and you can see where does progress needs to happen. And where has progress happened, and where does change need to happen, and how can you get yourself closer to your goals? So let's get into them. The first question I ask myself is, what did I do well today? What were the things that I did really well in that day? If I have my day planned, I look at my to-do list or my daily planner, and then I pick the things that I actually stuck to, that I actually did, that I wanted to do. And that lets me know that I am making progress, that I'm able to take action towards my goals. Number 2, I asked, where was my discipline tested? And these questions I got from Marcus Aurelius writing on Meditations. He shares these questions in there. So the second question is, where was my discipline tested? This is a really powerful question because when you're practicing self discipline, when you're looking to become more consistent, your discipline is going to be tested during the day. So you want to get a clear picture on where is your discipline being tested, because those are areas where you're going to have to put in additional effort to ensure that you remain consistent when your discipline is actually being tested. Number 3, where do I need to forgive myself for the day? Now, the way Marcus Aurelius words this question is, what did I do bad today? However, I've rephrased this question to, where do I need to forgive myself today? Because if I phrase something as bad, my brain immediately is triggered to want to punish myself for it. And that's a result of the conditioning and the programming I received as a child, that when you do something bad, you are supposed to be punished. So instead of utilizing that language that puts me in a space that doesn't serve me, I instead look at my day and I ask myself, where do I need to forgive myself? Where did I do things that took me away from my goal? Because then I can look at those things and say, Nori, you moved away from your daily planner from 3 to 4. That's a place where you need to forgive yourself because you took yourself, whether consciously or subconsciously, away from the thing you want to achieve. And practicing self forgiveness will allow you to not take on that burden into the next day. And part of this exercise is to help you release the burden of the day so that when you start the next day, if you wake up that morning, you can start fresh and clean. Okay? Question number 4 is, how can I improve? This is a very powerful question because by now you looked at what you did well, so you know you're making progress and you're feeling good about that. You have looked at where your discipline was tested, so now you know that there are some places that you can improve, you know what I mean? And then you've also looked at where you have to forgive yourself, and you've forgiven yourself for those things. And now you can look at, how can I improve in the places where my discipline was tested? How can I do things better? How can I take action? What tangible things can I do to ensure that I do not find myself in that position again the next day? And the way to show how you improve, they don't have to be grandiose. You don't have to marry yourself to the idea of perfection. You can simply take smaller steps to take you closer and closer to the person you want to be, to the goals you want to achieve, understanding that this is a process and that some things might take a long time for you. Often I used to think that it was all or nothing. Like, either I'm doing it perfectly or I'm not going to do it at all. And in reality, that's literally never been the case in my life. There's never been something that been like, oh, if I'm going to do this perfectly on the first try when I've never done it before, or I'm going to do this perfectly right now, considering that I've had years and years, decades of programming and habits that I'm going to look to break to make this happen. So this gives you an opportunity to slowly begin to improve on yourself, so that the next day you know, oh, this is what I'm looking to do. When you look at your next day, when you wake up in the morning and you look at your reflections, you can say, today I really want to focus on the areas where my discipline was tested, and I also want to make sure I'm doing it by the things I said I can do to improve. So those are that's the number one tip I can share with you today on how to be more consistent. You use this evening reflection so that you can get a clear look at what your day was like, get a clear look at what you did great, where your discipline was tested, what you need to forgive yourself for, because self-forgiveness is so powerful, and how you can improve, and take that on to the next day. And the more you practice this, the more you do this, you'll find yourself being more consistent in your stuff, because you're going to want to see where you made progress, and you're going to want to see where you can do better. And when you look at what you can do better, you're not doing it from a position of judging yourself and punishing yourself. You're doing it from a position of, how can I get closer to my goal? How can I train myself with my behavior so that I can accomplish it? So that's what I had for you today. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon. Hasta luego.